Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm bringing you guys my top 10 tips to take your SP to the next level. Let's get straight into it. Okay, so tip number one, and that is to customize your RetroArch. So if I press my menu button here, you're gonna notice my RetroArch looks very different. What yours probably looks like stock out of the box. Now this is called XMB. I'm gonna show you how to enable that and how to change some of the icons here so it looks something similar to what I have here. So I've gone ahead and backed out of the game. I'm gonna go all the way to the settings on the main menu. First thing I want you to do is go into your network settings and connect to Wi-Fi if you haven't done so already. We're gonna explain why in a second. And now I want you to scroll up to RetroArch settings. You're gonna go to Start RetroArch, and then you're gonna press yes. So now in RetroArch, now you're gonna have to scroll down to the settings icon over here, and then I want you to go into User Interface, and then I want you to press up on the D-pad, and it's gonna bring you down to the menu. And now by default, this will be on Ozone, and you want to switch it to XMB, which is the last option. This is basically the PlayStation style kind of graphical interface for RetroArch. So as you can see here, it also says restart required. So I want you to go ahead, back out. You're going to go over here to your configuration file. And now I just want you to go down to save current configuration. It's going to give you a little notification that's been saved. And now I want you to quit and restart RetroArch. So now I want you to go right back to where you were. Go to settings, RetroArch settings, start RetroArch, yes. And now you'll see that your RetroArch looks a little bit different. It's gonna be blue and it's not gonna look as kind of like this exactly, but we're gonna change a couple things to get it looking a little bit nicer than that. So now I want you to go back to settings right over here. You'll see a gear icon. You're gonna go back to user interface. And now I want you to click on appearance. The very first thing I want you to do is change the scale factor from 1.5 to 1.1 or 1.0, whatever looks a little bit better for you. So by default, it will look like this. As you can see at 1.5, the scale is a little bit too zoomed in and it's a little bit hard to read all the text that's on the screen. So I like to bump that down to like 1.1 or whatever you feel is good that you can read all the text on screen. Also, I like to change the shader pipeline, which is just this like kind of like live wallpaper kind of thing on the background. By default, it should be set to ribbon simplified, but I do like ribbon. You also have like snow in here, which is pretty cool as well. So you have a bunch of cool effects in here, which you can add. But I personally like ribbon a lot. And then you can also change the color in here. So I have it set to cube purple, something like a GameCube purple. But there's a bunch of other cool colors in here. You got flaming hot, ice cold, Midgar, legacy red, dark purple, midnight blue, golden, electric blue. This is the default color. It looks pretty nice. Apple green, bunch of really nice stuff in here. You guys can look through this and pick whichever suits your fancy. I personally really like the cube purple for this silver. I think it accents it really well. And then over here, we're also going to change the icon. So the icon theme I have set to is, I'm probably going to pronounce this wrong, Date. But by default, it will be set to monochrome, which is the very first one. But you're not going to have access to this unless you download something called assets. So the very first thing I want you to go down to is menu item visibility. So in here, I want you to go down to and then turn on online updater. Now, when you go back to this menu right here, you'll see online updater. And then in here, you can actually update certain things. Now, I want to say a few things. Be very careful. You only want to update what I'm telling you. Do not update controller profiles. Only update assets. You can update cheats. You can update databases. You can update overlays. You can update GLSL shaders. But do not, I repeat, do not update controller profiles. You will mess up your device. Please do not do that. So just update assets and maybe some of the other stuff because that is relevant to what we'll be doing today. Go ahead and update assets. I've already done so, but just for the purpose of demonstration. Okay, and now that that's done, you'll be able to change the icon. So go back to user interface, appearance. We're gonna scroll down to icon theme, and then I want you to set it to whichever one you like. I personally like Date, but you can choose any of these that suit your fancy. And with that, your RetroArch should look a lot nicer than what it looked like before. So last thing, you want to make sure you go back to configuration file and save current configuration. to save all the changes you've made. And we're pretty much done with this step. So that's tip number 1, customize your RetroArch. So tip number 2 is to change your Game Boy Advance core to GPSP. Now this is game specific, so it's not going to change it across every single game, but for games that you do want to use fast forward, I would recommend you change the core to GPSP. So we're going to press Y here, and then you have a bunch of core options. I want you to set it to the second option, GPSP, and I'll tell you why in a second. So let's get into the game. And now by default, you will have fast forward mapped to R2. Okay. So this is not a toggle, but it is very handy to have for a game like this, where you want to speed through some of the dialogue or some of the slow stuff you've already seen before. So now when we're in game, you're gonna notice my fast forward is just right. Like it's not super fast, it's not super slow, but I can do what I have to do without crashing into walls, speed through the parts I don't want to see. Which brings us into tip number 3, and that is to adjust your fast forward rate. So now I'm going to show you guys how to do that. So I want you to press menu here. We're going to go into the RetroArch settings. I'm going to go down to frame throttle. And now there's a couple things I want you to make sure are enabled in this menu. So you want to go down to sync to exact content frame rate. Make sure this is on. And then right over here, when you click this button, you will be able to adjust the frame rate to whatever speed you want. So right now I have it set to 6x. I found 6x to be basically just right. But again, play with these numbers a little bit. You do have a lot of options in here. You can try 7x, maybe even 10x if you do like really fast forward. But again, you want to try it, see what works best for you. And then once you've made those changes, try them out. Go ahead and resume the game. You know, play through a little bit of the game, adjust to your liking. When you find the right one, I want you to go back into the menu and just go down to configuration file and save current configuration. That way you save whatever changes you've made to the settings here. So yeah, that is tip numbers 2 and 3 to change your Game Boy Advance core to GPSP and to adjust your fast forward rate to something that works a little bit better for a game like this. As a quick bonus tip, if you don't like this really fast, noisy music, I can show you how to disable it. And you can also turn off this notification right over here in the corner if you don't like that as well. So really quick, I'm going to show you how to do that. So I want you to press menu, and to mute when fast forwarding, I want you to go down to audio, and then you should see an option in here. It says mute when fast forwarding. Make sure this is turned on. And then for that little notification in the corner that indicates your fast forward, I want you to go into user interface, on-screen notifications, notification visibility, and then go down to fast forward notifications. You want to turn that off, and then that way, now when you fast forward, completely quiet and nothing blocking a part of the screen. So yeah, quick bonus tip for my fast forward users. Tip number 4,
oh yeah,
and that is how to turn off these button sounds. So if you're somebody that these button sounds make you feel a little bit like Psyduck over here, see these buttons on the menu. These buttons drive you absolutely insane and make you feel like Psyduck. I want you to go into your settings, and now I want you to scroll all the way down till you see button sound, and you'll see on. Go ahead and turn that off. And now no more headache. The bliss of silence and no noisy button sounds. Now tip number 5 is something called Quick Shutdown. It is an absolutely amazing feature in the stock firmware. Now let me show you what it does real quick before I show you how to enable it. Okay, so let's say you're done playing your favorite game, Powerpuff Girls, and now you just want to save and quit and just close your device, put it away. But you don't want to go through all the menus, you don't want to quit out of RetroArch and all this stuff. This is the beauty of Quick Shutdown. So you just press the power button once, and I'll tell exiting, it'll vibrate a little bit, and then when you see the power light indicator go off, you know you're good to go. Boom, just like that. Next time you boot it up, now it will take a second, but once it's back in the game, you can make sure to turn up the brightness again, and now you're back to playing your favorite game, Powerpuff Girls. So yeah, let me show you how to enable that. It's a really cool feature, really awesome feature of Anbernic software. So yeah, to enable Quick Shutdown, I want you to go into your App Center on the main menu. Then I want to go to this apps folder right here. Go ahead and click your TF1, and then right over here you will see an option called Quick Shutdown Set. I want to click it, And then to enable, I want you to press Y. And then additionally, in this menu, you can even have it quick shutdown when you close the lid, which is really cool. I personally prefer sleep for when I close the lid, but if you like for it to just shut down every time you close the lid, you can also do that here as well if you press Y. Okay, but I'm gonna set it to sleep. But again, you guys play around with that, see whatever you like. So yeah, that is tip number 5, quick shutdown, one of the best features of this device. Now, tip number 6 is how to disable the load content startup notification. Now, what is a load content startup notification? Let me show you what that is. So by default, anytime you enter a game, you'll see this. This is a load content startup notification. It's just a badge that shows you what game you're playing the second you start up the game. And I find that really annoying. I just want to see the nice boot screen. I don't want to see this stupid RetroArch stuff. So I'm going to show you guys how to disable that. So the first thing you want to do is press your menu button. You're going to go back out. You're going to go into your settings. You're going to go into user interface. You're going to go down to on-screen notifications, notification visibility. And then in here, you will see load content startup notification. Go ahead and turn that off. And then as always, you want to go into configuration file and then save current configuration. Now let's go ahead and quit out of here and restart RetroArch. So next time you start up Aladdin, you're just going to see your beautiful Game Boy Advance boot logo and no ugly badge in front of that blocking the view of your game. For my next tip, I'm going to show you guys how to capture the moment, and that is using screenshots and how to view those screenshots using RetroArch. So by default, the hotkey to screenshot is menu plus B. So I'll show you that here. So for example, I want to capture the moment. I'm here about to get my first Pokemon ever, and I want to capture this moment. So I press menu plus B, and you'll see a little nice notification that we have a screenshot saved. So now when I go into my RetroArch, I do have an images thing right here where I can view my screenshot and other screenshots. So this is really cool if you want to have like an album of your playtime, you know, cool things and experiences you've had in your time playing. You guys can save some memories and, you know, maybe share this stuff with your friends. So let me show you how to do that. So the very first thing we're going to do is we're going to quit out of the game. We're going to back out. We need to create a folder somewhere in our SD card named screenshots. We're going to use the app center. We're going to use this file manager. And then right in here, you can see I already created a screenshots folder. So then in here, all you have to do is press Y, and then you're going to create new directory. And then you're going to type out screenshots. I'm going to go ahead and cancel this. So type out screenshots and then press OK, and that'll create the new directory. It's got a new folder in this archive. And now I want you to remember the folder path. I'll leave something on screen so you guys don't remember. It's MNT/MMC and then screenshots. And that's the directory you're going to use to put your folders. So now that we've done that, you can press Y again and we can quit out of here. And now we're going to go back to RetroArch. And now the very first thing you need to do is to enable the images menu item. You're going to go into user interface, menu item visibility, and then in here you should see show images. Make sure this is on if it's not already on. And now that you've done that, I want you to back out of user interface, go all the way back to the settings. And now I want you to scroll down to directory. I'm going to change two things in here. So now the screenshots directory, you want to change this to the exact same file path I showed you before. So for the purposes of demonstration, I'm going to show you how to do it. You're going to back out all the way out till you see these menu items. Then you can go into MNT, then MMC, and then you should see screenshots right here. And then you're going to say use this directory. And now you want to do the same thing for your images playlist. So go ahead and put it to MNT, MMC screenshots, same thing, use this directory. And now anytime you take a screenshot, it will be put into your images playlist. So when you go over here, you'll see your screenshots. And yeah, that's a really cool little useful tip for taking screenshots using RetroArch. Okay guys, so tip number 8, I'm going to show you guys how to make your DS games look that much better. So this is the before. So as you can see, this is what DS normally looks like. It's a bit not that high res, but using Drastic, we can upscale the graphics a little bit. So this is the before. And then in here, I want you to go to change options. And then right over here, you see high resolution 3D. Go ahead and change that to yes, and then go ahead and exit, save for all games. And now you'll see the graphics look just that much better. So this is a small tip, but it definitely makes your DS games look just that much better. And it's something really awesome I really enjoy about Drastic. So tip number 9, and that is to use GBA color correction. GBA color correction essentially adjusts the colors to be a little bit more accurate to what Game Boy Advance you really used to look like. So really quick, I'm going to put it side by side on screen so you guys can see what color correction looks like and what it doesn't look like. So yeah, if you like color correction, I'm going to show you how to turn it on. Go ahead and press menu. And now in the quick menu, you'll see core options. I want you to go down to video. And then in here, you'll see color correction. Go ahead and set that to Game Boy Advance. And now we can back out. Hit resume. And now color correction should be enabled. And now games look as they are intended to look on your SP. Now tip number 10 is for my original Game Boy fans. This is how to change your color palette really easily on a Game Boy emulator. So here, as you can see, I am in Pokemon Blue, and using the shoulder buttons, I can easily swap between palettes. It's a really fun little trick, and it just makes playing Game Boy super enjoyable. You can swap palettes on the fly to anything that suits your fancy. And it's a really easy thing to do. So all you have to do is press menu. You're gonna go down to core options right over here. And then in here it says GB colorization. All you have to do is set it to internal and then back out. And now by default, it will be set to your L and R buttons to switch between palettes. So this is something I do on every single one of my devices. If this is something you enjoy, go ahead and enable it. And that is tip number 10, how to easily change your color palette on Game Boy emulator. Now, bonus tip. You may have noticed throughout this video, I do not have any bezels or any overlays on my SP. If you're somebody you don't like the bezels or the shaders or overlays, you can turn all that stuff off. I'm going to show you how really quickly. So that is our bonus tip, turning off your bezels and your shaders to make your device look something like this. Now with Anbernic software, Anbernic has made it super easy to do this. All you have to do is navigate to the App Center. You're going to go into your apps, TF1, and then in here you'll find all those things. You can go in here into bezels, go ahead and turn them off. So here you'll have auto, manual, and off. Press A for off. Go ahead and press A. Now the bezels have been turned off. Additionally, you also have your shaders in here, so you can go ahead and turn those off as well. So again, A to disable. So now your shaders are disabled. And now anytime you go into a game, you will not have any shaders or bezels in the way of your game. It'll just be a full screen game, something like this, like NES, SNES. You will not have any bezel on the side, and it'll just be full screen. For games that have a different aspect ratio that is not 4:3, you'll still have letterboxing, like for Game Boy Advance or Game Boy, but 4:3 systems will take up the full screen of the device. And now for our last tip, the tip finale, and that is to subscribe to Play Retro. If you enjoy this sort of content and you haven't done so already, definitely subscribe to the channel so you guys don't miss out on any future content. Let me know in the comment section below if you guys enjoyed the video. If you guys want another 10 tips, maybe I could put another 10 together for you guys. But yeah, that's all I got for you guys today. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I love putting it together. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.